All right, class, so we are at lecture 3, homework assignment. And in this assignment, we are going to create a contingency table like we did in homework 2. We're going to use that contingency table to create our row, column, and total percentages. And let's see if there's anything else that we'll be doing. And then we will also create a bar graph, and then answer a whole bunch of questions that will pretty much be obvious once we've created the tables and the graph. All right, so let's get going. Your boss, let's zoom this in, do this all the time. Your boss, state congresswoman so-and-so, Uzachuku, wants to know whether education is related related in any way to one's opinion about legalizing marijuana. You decide to conduct the study by first looking at the data via contingency tables and a bar or line graph, okay? So let's look at creating a contingency table, and this will be similar, like I said earlier, to what we did already in homework 2. I'm going to take you through those steps, even though technically you should know how to do this by now. And I would get real comfortable with doing this for the midterm, because you're not going to have these instructions in front of you for the midterm, and so and it'll be timed, of course. So you definitely should get comfortable with moving around and getting this contingency table. So let's create the table. We're just going to select everything here. It's a different set of data than what we had in homework 1 and 2. Let's see if this is an okay place to put the data. I think we wanted it in P1. It is probably, let's see. Yes, P8 apparently is where we want it. Oh no, P1. P2. Sorry guys. Reading is fundamental. Alright, so we're going to create a pivot table with grass as our dependent variable, marijuana opinions, that is. And so we're going to put that in the row, of course. Education, the 2 categories of education, we're going to put that in our independent variable. First off, I think it's important for us to see what this data set looks like. We've got gender or sex, we've got race, marital status. I've already provided the filters so we can see what's inside each of these. And we can see here for the education that there were 4 categories that I then broke down to only 2 categories. And that's what we're using here. So, and then like we did with the other one, it doesn't matter whether you put education or grass, because as you can see, you get the same numbers throughout. So let's just keep this simple and put only one of them there, right? So be sure to remove the blanks, and be sure to deselect all the values except should and should not. So let's go ahead and do that. We don't need the blanks, and we don't need anything in should or should not. So let me undo that, because I can show you that I could have done that here in this category. No answer, don't know. We're deselecting all of that, and that's what we have left. Okay? So now that we've created the basic contingency table with absolute frequencies, just the numbers, because that's what absolute frequencies are, we would like to do the same again, but this time with relative frequencies, percentages, right? Select the entire table you just created. Okay, this table, you see how I did that? I was here, I just went up here and it selected all of it. That arrow is key. You don't see the arrow, well, you see the arrow here, but you want to select it at the table name. Let's copy. Let's paste it at P8. Just gonna press enter, or you can just paste it there. So now, first of all, well, it may, okay, no, actually, now let's go in here to the values because we want to change that. Okay, we went to value field settings because we wanted to change that, and we want to change it to row percentages. Okay, so under custom name, let's call it what we want it to be, row percentages. Under show value as, it says summarize values as, so we're going to show values as, we're going to select row total because that's what we want. We've got what we want. Let's click OK. So now, if you notice, row total should be 100% at the very end of that row. Rows go from left to right, so we have at the end of that row 100%. Okay, so 41 plus 59 is 100%. 52 plus 48, 100%. Okay, and we can see our this is clearly not a column total because it's not equaling 100% down. Okay, so let me just before we move on to to repeating steps 1 or 2 and 3 and 4, let me show you what these numbers mean, and you probably have already done this in your practice exercise, but we can calculate these numbers as such. So we take that one, we divide it by this one, excuse me, this row total, and we should get that 41%. Okay, of course you can format it if you want, make that percent. We can add decimal places, or we can keep it as is. We want to do that to the next one, divide it by the row total, right, and we should get 51. We do that to the next one. What is this total of? This is the total of those who are high school degreed or lower. Okay, we're going to divide it by the total of that row, which is the total, and we should get 48%. So 48% of this, what is this, high school or lower education is, excuse me, 48 of the total sample is high school degreed or lower. Okay, so we can see that it's the same. All right, I just wanted to show you that really quickly before I'm going to undo all that. Oop, I did not mean to say that. Awesome. So we're going to undo all that, and then we're going to do what we, the repeating stuff. We're going to do here, I believe it's said to do it at P14 and at P20. Let me see if I can do it at both. Yes, I can. So we're gonna go back here, column percentage. This should now say column. Okay. So you notice the row, at the end of the row, it does not equal 100%, so we know these are not row percentages. These are column percentages because they equal 100 going down. So what would this one be called? Actually, I'm going to let you do that on your own. You go here, you change that, and you go here, you change that, and I will let you decide what that percentage should be. But of course, it's in your notes as well. So now that we've done that, we can answer the questions here to the left. Question A is asking us to show how we got the number 48.07 that you see here. 48.07, 48.07. How did we get that number? Right? So you type in how you got that number. .07. That's coming from this 224 divided by what? If that's a row percentage, we would divide by the end of that row. So I need to see that calculation here, right? 224 divided by what? Hopefully you said 466, and you multiply that by 100. Okay, so we're going to do that for all of these questions listed here, answering all of these questions, and take a look at how these questions are asked, because this is important. It's important to know how these questions are asked. When we say what percentage of respondents said this or that, right? So take a look at how these are asked, because when you are now in the position to have to interpret it, interpret a number, you can see how that interpretation should take place. So let's move on to plotting a bar graph in cell 26. Okay, so with a bar graph, we refer to homework 2 if we need assistance, because we did a bar graph there. Was it bar? Yeah, bar or column graph. We did that there. And we want to show the relationship between opinions about marijuana and education. So let's go to insert another pivot table. Actually, we're going to make it a pivot chart. Let's just select all of this. And we're putting it at 26. Oh, okay, good. Alright, so I want to move this over to cover the table that will end up being there once we start putting this stuff in place. But essentially, we want that to go here. We want education. Is it, which education? Oh, the regular education, not the two categories. And then again, we can put either of these here. All right. So it's asking us to make sure that we get rid of the blanks, and that we deselect everything that isn't should not. I'm going to let you practice doing that on your own, okay? And also, you might want to look at how it looks the other way as well and decide which way you think is the best way. I'll let you do that on your own. And that concludes this lecture, this practice homework exercise. So answer the last question and you're good to go, folks. And honestly, I would take the time to do this with these row, column, and total percentages, and even creating graphs. Get really comfortable with doing this, because these are powerful tools, and you see just how quickly I was able to create them in less than 10 minutes, less than even 5 minutes if you don't have to sit and listen to all my talking. It takes no time, and yet it provides so much information. So go through other variables and see what they look like visually, or what they look like, you know, in terms of their table, their contingency table. Okay? All right, thanks, folks. Bye.